Namaste. Good morning. Let's go ahead and complete TDS and TCS. What we have so far seen in section 192, we saw two things. 192 for salaries, 192A premature withdrawal of PF. On interest, we saw two things. 193 interest on securities, 194 interest other than securities. On dividend, that is 194A interest other than securities. Dividend 194, today also we will see a dividend. Then winnings 194B and 194BB. Contracts 194C. There are three sections which speak about commission. Insurance commission 194D, lottery commission 194G, general commission and brokerage 194H. All had the same threshold and rate. Of course, 194H had case clause. 194DA, withdrawal or lump sum received from life insurance corporation. 194E, sportsperson and entertainist. And we stopped there, understanding practically the aspects, and said we will start with the main 194I in the morning. In all the things what we are seeing is, because when you revise, how you should see. 1. To whom it is applicable. 2. What is the threshold limit. 3. What is the rate. 4. What are all the special points. When you revise at home, it should be a columnar thing. Applicability or section number and applicability, smaller column. Second, threshold limit, smaller column. Amount, smaller column. Special point, larger column. Special points will be less in some sections, more in some sections, so that you will be able to revise it easily. Right. Section 194I, rent. To whom it is applicable. Same conditions as we saw in 194C, 194H, everything, 194A. Applicable for all assessees except individuals and HUF who is not under the tax added bracket in the immediately preceding year. So for 21-22, I will look at 2021 and check whether they are applicable. Yes, tax needs to be deducted either on debit or payment or on credit, whichever is earlier. On what? On rent. What is rent? All types of payment for usage of any facility, okay, which can be movable, immovable, etc. Threshold limit 2,40,000. Rate again depends on the type of let out. I mean the nature, the article let out. 194C also had two rates depending upon the receiver. 194I also has two rates depending upon the nature of article which has been let out. Okay, rate is 2% in respect of plant, machinery and furniture, 10% in the case of immovable property. 2% in the case of plant, machinery and furniture, 10% in the case of immovable property. Okay, okay. So whatever may be the rent, it can be lease, sublease, tenancy for immovable property, plant, machinery, equipment, furniture, whether or not owned by the assessee. Why this condition? Because even subletting, because the law says sublease will also be covered under 194I. That's why they are saying whether or not owned by the receiver. That is the assessing. Now coming to some aspects of important understanding. Please concentrate. What is the threshold limit? What is the threshold limit, Sriram?
30,000.
Right.
2,40,000. 2,40,000.
Rupees 2,40,000 is the threshold limit. Sriram, you and Venkatesh are the joint owners of a property. You and Venkatesh are the joint owners of the property.
Yes, sir.
Each of you get a rent of 15,000 for the same property. Each of you get the rent of 15,000 per month.
Okay, sir.
Is the payer, that is, suppose it is me, am I liable to deduct tax at source?
I'm not sure, sir. Is it 2 lakhs or
15,000 into 12 for you, 180. For him, 180. 3,60,000 is the total rent.
per property we have to deduct?
Per property, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Not per owner, per share.
Threshold limit is per owner. If there are joint owners and I am splitting the rent and giving, if I am giving it a single check, I have to deduct. But I need to give it as 2 checks. One to Sriram, one to Venkatesh. Then I need not deduct tax at source. Threshold limit is per owner and not per property. Number one, first understanding. Continuing with the example, Sriram. I take a house property from you for rent for 15,000 per month. Am I liable to deduct tax at source?
15,000, no, sir.
15,000 into 12, 180. I need not deduct tax at source. Correct, Sriram?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I am also taking some furniture from you for rent, for which you are charging 7,000 per month. 7,000 into 12, 84,000. Am I liable to deduct?
For all the services put together.
For all
have to
services put together. 15,000 for house property or building, 7,000 for furniture, total exceeds 20,000. Total comes to 22,000. I am liable to deduct tax at source. Sir, for this, that separate? No. Two things you have to remember. 194I is per owner. In the case of joint ownership, where I am splitting the check and giving, per owner should only be seen. And it is for all let out put together, not just our house property. 2%, okay, in the case of plant machinery and 10% in the case of other things. Trust me, it is in this section the circular is, which is applicable for all over the law. Okay, which is applicable totally. Ranganaiki, are you there? Not there. No problem. Painiyappan, are you there?
Yes, sir. But I have throat infection, sir.
Sorry.
Can't speak.
Okay. Please. No problem. Please mute yourself. Not an issue. Hari, are you there, Hari? You're okay now? How is your health?
Yeah, it's better, sir.
Yeah. Hari, 3 lakhs is the rent which I have to pay to my tenant. 25,000 per month. 3 lakhs is the rent. The tenant who gives me an invoice like that, 3 lakhs for rent, add GST at 18%. Okay, so so approximately 58,000 or something like that. So I am paying 3,58,000. Should I deduct tax for 358 or 3 lakhs?
No, excluding GST, sir.
So this is the section which gave the clarity also. Circular is there in this section. Though it is for contract, though it is for professional, though it is for various other things, the circular, as he was saying, that exclude GST is also in this section only.
Sir, I believe there is one circular given by CBDT in 2017, I think.
Yeah. But circular was given under 194I. Yes, you are right. Circular was given under 194I, which is applicable for all sections.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So 23/2017, GST shall not form part of consideration on which tax needs to be deducted. Tax is only on the value of services and not on the tax component. The circular was here and not, though it is applicable to all sections, but the circular was here. Okay, right. There is a concept called lump sum premium payment. They don't pay rent. I take the property for lease for 10 years and I pay 50 lakhs upfront. Whenever I vacate the property, they will give me back that 50 lakhs. Am I liable to deduct tax at source?
No, sir. It's a deposit and not a rent.
Lump sum lease premium or one-time upfront lease charges which are not adjustable with the rent. Okay. Are not rent, therefore such payments are not liable for TDS. Such payments are not liable for TDS. So please understand that premium paid and tax are not. Now, some of the aspects which more detailed we have to understand. Cold storage facility. Cold storage facility means sub-zero level, 0 or minus negative. Majority of the chocolates, majority of the life-saving drugs has to be kept in a cold storage facility. To 35 AD, they introduced that it has a specified business because we don't have sufficient cold storage facility. They introduced it as a specified business. Coming back, I construct a cold storage facility and enter into an agreement for a person to store his products in the cold storage facility. Is the person liable to deduct tax at source under 194I? Okay. The CBDT said the amount paid is not for use of land or building. The amount paid is for use of that facility called cold storage facility. CBDT said, what you are paying as a consideration is not just like any other building which is taken on rent. It is not a land which is taken on rent. It is for a facility which is provided. So they said this is more of contractual nature than of rent. The main function of a cold storage is to preserve perishable goods by means of a mechanical process, and storage of such goods is only incidental. The customer is also not given any right to use any demarcated space or place or the machinery of the cold storage, and thus does not become a tenant. Therefore, the provisions of 194I are not applicable to cooling charges paid by the customer for the cold storage facility. It is more to do with 194C.
Sir, if they have like storage, cold storage along with normal storage,
194I. If you take it permanently on rent, 194I. If you are using the facility whenever you have stock, இன்னைக்கு 100 units இருக்கு, நாளைக்கு 3000 units இருக்கு, more of this government warehouse, etc., customs warehouse, which you see in Vadapayani, all these things, those were.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the main words they have used? The customer is not given any right to use any demarcated space or place. This is your area. You bring the stock, wherever available, I will keep. So the customer is not given any, particular demarcated space. Okay, please remember that. I want it to be remembered because the next case law comes. Airline operators versus with Airport Authority of India. Chennai Airport enters into an agreement with British Airways saying at any point of time you can park 5 flights in our airport. You can park 5 flights. Apart from that, they provide services like landing, takeoff, maintenance of airport on arrival, conveyor belt, you know what are all things, that internal bus, everything is provided by Airport Authority of India. So the agreement says landing charges, parking charges, passenger fees, and various other. Is it coming under 194C or 194I?
194C.
194C. Why are you so clear about that?
Because these are taken on contract basis, so there is a pre-existing contract that exists.
I take that answer. Also remember, there is no demarcated space. This belongs to British Airways. At any point of time, you can have 5 vehicles. And more importantly, these are not charges paid for one particular service. Japan Airlines Limited, Singapore Airlines Limited. Japan Airlines Limited, Madras High Court, where they said it is not 194I, it is 194C. Singapore Airlines Limited, Punjab and Haryana Court, where they said it is 194I. Both of them went to Supreme Court. landing and parking charges paid by airline company to AAI is in the nature of rent to attract deduction under 194I held by the Supreme Court. The charges are for services and facilities offered. Okay, services and facilities offered in connection with aircraft operation at the airport, which includes landing, takeoff, parking, air traffic, ground safety, aeronautical communication facilities, installation and maintenance of navigational aids. Hence, the charges are not just for use of land, and therefore it is not coming under 194I. Okay, the charges are paid is of more comprehensive, more this nature. So 194I is the base section. Okay, right. You are all seeing mobile towers. Okay, I am a company which takes a land on lease. Understand my case, which I take a land on lease. It can be the roof of an apartment, or it can be a bare land where I erect the tower and various operators like Vodafone, Airtel, Jio place their equipment. I erect the tower and allow them to use their equipment for communication, for which I receive monthly charges. I contended, that is either mobile tower facilitator contended that it is coming under 194C. The assessing officer contended, look, it is lease of land, so 194I. Who is correct?
AO is correct, sir.
AO is correct.
Yes, I
No,
guess so.
sir.
Court said both of you are wrong.
Missionary, no?
Yeah,
Missionary, right?
court said both of you are wrong. Court said it is coming under 194I, hiring, letting out of equipment. Fortunately, 2%. In 194C also 2%. Indus Towers, payment used for passive infrastructure facility such as mobile towers. The dominant intention was equipment that is used of plant or machinery, that is passive infrastructure, and not use of land. Hence, tax it at 2% under 194I, which is for letting out of plant, machinery and equipment. SBI properties, I told you, rent is per co-owner. In respect of a co-owned property, how to measure the threshold? Since the payment of rent is made to each co-owner by way of separate check and their share is definite, threshold limit is 194I. In the Indus Towers Padicha Marita, Mahalakshmi Transport Company, dumpers, you are seeing, no? Dumpers, tippers are all equipment and cannot be treated as just another vehicle taken on rent. Are all plant and machinery equipment, or tipper, dumper, okay, boring equipment, all these things are equipment. and the payment made by an assessee engaged in transportation of building material for hiring dumpers, etc., be treated as rent of for machinery or equipment. Since the assessee had given contracts to the parties for the transportation of goods and not for renting, such payment could not be termed as use a rent paid for machinery. Hence, 194C is only applicable. The transport operator will be arriving at, not the other sections. Next to 194H, 194I has lot of cases. Next to 194H, which we saw commission and brokerage, 194I has the largest number of cases. Quick read through, please. I'm looking into this question. Question number 18. Vikram took lease of a building from a resident assessee for rupees 20,000 per month on 1st April 21. He also took machinery on hire from the frame person from 1st November. He paid this amount along with GST to the lender. Analyze TDS obligation. ABC Limited took on sublease a building from J, an individual, with effect from 1st September on a rent of 25,000, took machinery of 15,000. ABC Limited entered into two separate agreements with J for sublease of building and machinery. The rent of building and machinery for the financial year 21-22, 175 and 90 respectively, which were credited by ABC to the account of J in the books as on 31-3. Examine the obligation for deduction of tax at source. Same question asked in a different manner. Okay, so this is the mode of computation. Friends, in 194I, it can be a case law related question or then. Remember whatever I was saying about TDS. It is a theoretical answer. If you are looking for practical answer, the answer will be very one line or two lines. But please remember, we have to write lot of theory. We have to say the provision in your own words. Please specify the provision and then come to the answer. Okay. So 194I. From here we are jumping to a provision which is applicable for all assessee, not just a business assessee, which is applicable for all assessee. Transfer of immovable property other than agricultural land. Repeating, I am selling a property. If it is agricultural land, TDS is not applicable, even if it is urban agriculture land. Otherwise, I am selling a land or I am selling a property. What is the responsibility of the buyer who is the payer? So, for example, I am selling a land for 1 crore to Ananya. What is the responsibility of Ananya? Ananya has to deduct tax at source. She need not be a business associate. This is not just for business associate. This is for all associates. If the consideration exceeds 50 lakhs. So 50 lakhs is the threshold limit. Rate of taxation 1%. If the consideration exceeds 50 lakhs, tax needs to be deducted at source. Rate of deduction 1%. ஒரே ஒரு transaction. Otherwise, she is a salaried employee. Otherwise, she has nothing to do with the business or profession. இதுக்காக நான் tan வாங்கி, I should get a tan. I should make a quarterly returns. The law gives you a relief. Tan is not mandatory in this case. Applicable for all assessees who transfers immovable property and the consideration exceeds 50 lakhs. Consideration means total sum. This is very important. So to avoid this, what did the promoters of the land, if suppose I'm buying a flat in OMR for 65 lakhs, they created an invoice like this: 49 lakhs for the flat, 10 lakhs for common facility usage, 5 lakhs for other aspects like passage, lift, etc. So they split the invoice in such a manner that the consideration for the immovable property was less than 50 lakhs. Law overruled. Consideration means total sum paid in relation to the transfer. However, transfer of agricultural land is not provided. TAN not mandatory. And the rate of deduction is 1%.
Sir, if expenses are incurred for the transfer and that leads to the exceeding 50 lakhs.
Expenses paid to the seller.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are supposed to deduct tax at source. You are saying 49 lakhs plus 2 lakhs expenses made by the seller also I am reimbursing. So yes, I am buying it for 51 lakhs. Yes, you are liable to deduct tax at source.
Okay, sir.
Srijit sold to Mayur residential flat in Tinagar and rural agricultural land in Kamalapuram for 60 lakhs and 51 lakhs respectively. The stamp value of the property was 81 lakhs and 40 lakhs respectively. Analyze comprehensively the various provisions of law. Read through. What are all the provisions in the hands of the seller? Okay, just recollection. According to section 50C, full value of consideration will be actual consideration or stamp value, whichever is higher. However, if the stamp value does not exceed 110% of actual consideration, then actual will be taken as full value of consideration. Just a recollection of the provisions.
So one thing come back.
So for non-residents, is it covered under 195, right, sir?
Yes.
So in that we should also include the surcharge and the HEC
Yes,
also.
always. Practically, உங்களுக்கு சொல்லி தரணும்னா, if suppose the land and building is owned by the non-resident and he is trying to sell, you need to write to the income tax department as advance ruling, asking what should be the tax that I need to deduct at source. What income tax department does is, they collect from the non-resident the date of purchase, everything. They do the indexation and find out what is the exact tax and give that as a rate to you. Okay, right. So this is the first section which you saw so far. This is the first section which you saw, which is also not applicable for, which is not restricted to business associates, applicable for all associates. The next section is again payment of rent by individuals and HUF. Nalla ஞாபகம் வச்சுங்க. Payment of rent by individuals and HUF. For a minute, because if I teach it here, I can take it easily for 194M also. 194I, whom it is applicable? All assessees except individuals and HUF whose turnover does not exceed 1 crore or 50 lakhs. If it is gross receipt, okay. So all, actually the silent word here is all business associates. For a company, for a firm, etc. What is the applicability of 194IB? What is the applicability of 194IB? Those who are not covered under 194IB. The applicability of 194IB is those assessees who are not covered under 194I. Yaar sir adu? Who is that who is not covered under 194I? Is a company covered under 194I?
Yes, sir.
A firm covered under 194I?
Yes, sir.
Charitable trust?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all people are covered here. Individuals and HUF who does not have business income, because they are not covered under 194I. எனக்கு salary தான், எனக்கு house property income மாத்திரம் தான், IFOS மாத்திரம் தான். Individuals and HUF who does not have business income. Not just that, individuals and HUF who has business but turnover or gross receipt has not exceeded 1 crore or 50 lakhs in 2021. So for whom 194 IB is applicable? Some authors itself, they have written, some lectures itself I have listened saying these are applicable for domestic assessee. Intention correct, அவங்களோட இன்டென்ஷன் அண்ட் இது. ஆனா டொமஸ்டிக் அசசி மாத்திரம் இல்ல, non business assessee மாத்திரம் இல்ல, even sometimes it is business assessees will also be covered if they are individuals and HUF who does whose turnover. So the easiest way to understand is those who are not covered under 194I are covered under 194IB. So now pay பண்ற rent. Suppose if I am not a business assessee, now I am not a business assessee, the rent I pay is covered under 194IB. So two things should always be remembered when we studied 194IA also. Two things. One, income tax department should ensure that they get revenue or they are able to monitor. Two, I should not put him into unwanted cumbersome process, because he is after all an individual who is not doing business. அவன்கிட்ட போய் இந்த TDS, TAN every quarter file பண்ணு. Both these things, I should satisfy my requirement of monitoring provision and I should also give him the benefit. So the law says threshold limit will be 50,000 per month. If the rent per month exceeds 50,000, deduct tax at source. When every month, last month of the year or tenancy. Suppose if you are vacating in September itself, in September. Otherwise, only in the last month. No TAN. You need not maintain TAN and all. You just fill up the form in 26 QB 26 QC form and say, against this person I am paying rent. That is sufficient for me. Okay, nice. Okay, applicable for individuals HUF not carrying on any business or profession, or carrying on business but their gross turnover or gross receipts does not exceed 1 crore in case of business, 50 lakhs in case of profession. What I have not written is in the immediately preceding year. Tax is liable to be deducted in the last month of tenancy or last month of the year, whichever is earlier. Suppose if you vacate before March, last month of tenancy, otherwise March. Threshold limit is not per annum, rupees 50,000 per month. Okay, rupees 50,000 per month, rate of deduction 5%. TAN is not mandatory. Maximum deduction not to exceed the last month rent. Read through.
Does it mean that TDS need not be deducted for each month? Only in the last month TDS will be deducted.
Yes. I will change it. IB. A salaried individual pay rent of 55,000 per month from June 2021. What is the amount to be deducted and when? What will be the answer if the tenant decides to vacate by December? What will be the answer in both the circumstances if the owner fails to provide PAN? Okay. So if he vacates in December, in the month of December, whenever he vacates or at the end of the year, whichever is earlier, I need to deduct tax at 5%. Month on month, I need not deduct. Cumulatively, I can deduct. So, one of the relief the law gives you is deduction, because while reading the theory, you would have got confused with this line. Maximum tax deduction not to exceed last month rent. Maximum tax deduction not to exceed last month rent. Rate is only 5%. Even if it is for 12 months, it is going to be only 60% of the rent. So remaining 40% you would have paid. So why is this line? Maximum tax deduction not to exceed, because when you read the theory, when you read the theory, you would have come across this line, maximum tax deduction not to exceed last month rent. அது எப்படி பாசிபிள்னு யூ வுட் ஹவ் தாட். சரி ஏதோ இவர் எழுதியிருக்கார் சும்மா விட்டுறலாம் பாவம் அப்படின்னு யூ ஆர் கைண்ட் எனஃப் டு லீவ் இட். ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் டு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் யூ வை திஸ் லைன். சப்போஸ் if PAN is not provided, per month 20%, within 5 months the whole rent is over. So the law said it's okay if PAN is not provided 20%. But suppose if the last month rent is less than that 20%, take the last month rent as pay totally. Don't pay anything to the owner, pay everything to the government.
Sir, suppose if there is some vacancy allowance for half a month, we should take only that portion and see for it.
Exactly, sir. If it is only, his question is, it is not 10 months, it is 9.5 months. It is, sir, you should see from the tenant perspective, don't see from the owner perspective. Yeah, somebody was also, other question was there.
Sir,
Yes, Sudha, I'm listening.
if he doesn't provide PAN and during the next month, if he updates his PAN, is there any relief that he can get, sir?
No, Sudha, no.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because the challan requires the PAN. Unless PAN is given, you cannot give him credit. Right. 194 IC is payment under specified agreement. We know this. Capital gains. I have a land and building. I enter into a joint development agreement with the builder. The builder demolishes my land and building and constructs it as apartment. He allots me 2 flats and land area and undivided land area and some monetary consideration. Section 45, subsection 5. If I remember correctly, நம்ம வந்து பிரியங்கா அப்படின்னு ஒரு question. Okay, she transferred her land. 3 cases work பண்ணுவோம். What if the new property is allotted before March, completed and allotted before March 22? What if it is completed only in April 22? How will your answer change? Answer will not change. Only the year of taxation will change because it is in the year in which the property completed and allotted to us. Third case, what if Priyanka sells it before the completion? Then in the year of sales it will be taxable. We have worked out a question. Okay, so this is to do with joint development agreement. Only on the monetary consideration paid you need to deduct tax. 10% only on the monetary consideration. Where the consideration is allotment of apartments or other things, you need not deduct tax. Means a registered agreement in which person owning land and building allow another person to develop on such land and building. The consideration is share of land, building, or both, plus monetary consideration. Deduction is to be made either at the time of credit or of the sum or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Only on monetary consideration we need to deduct tax, not for the consideration in kind. Read through. Okay, can we quickly run through? 194I is divided into 4 parts. 194I, the parent section, the most important, rent, which had some case laws. 194IA, the popular transfer of immovable property other than agricultural land. 194IB is for non-business assessee, but a part of business is also covered. TDS on rent paid. 194IC on specified agreements. What is the taxation? Then goes J. TDS on professionals and people who provide technical service. TDS on professionals and technical service. Well, this section seemingly is simple, but it is not simple. Why? What are all covered? First listen, then we will read. TDS on professionals. Who are all professionals? All these chartered accountants, lawyers, doctors, engineers, company secretary, film artist, consultants, are all professionals. Technical services, air conditioner repair, everybody is coming under technical services. Third, any payment made to a director other than remuneration. Any payment made to a director other than remuneration. Did we see it before and did I ask you to remember something on this?
Director sitting fees, threshold limit, 0.
Superb. Superb. The threshold limit is 0 for them. Those are also covered. All types of royalties are covered in this. All types of royalty. So when you purchase a software, you are not purchasing software, correct? You are paying for Microsoft Office. Are you buying Microsoft Office? அப்பனா அவங்க வேற யாருக்கும் அது செல்லே பண்ண முடியாது. You are popularly said this usage of license, subscription for usage of license, nothing but royalty. Nothing but royalty which you are paying. So, திருப்பி சொல்றேன். Professionals, technical services, directors payment other than remuneration, payment for purchase of software, license or acquisition of software. Did I give you any exception for this? Not a problem. In one of the questions we have worked out the exception. If the software is my goods, that is I purchase it with the re-intention of selling. I purchase it not to use to as my platform, not to use as a development, but with the intention of selling. Or there is one other exception where that person know from whom I am purchasing gives me a certificate that this software is already tax suffered. Adobe gives us a certificate. Boss, this is already tax suffered at one other point of time. Please don't deduct it again. Call centers operator are professionals. They are not contract, but relief is provided by the law. Slowly. This condition we know, this condition we know. Who is a professional? We know that everybody, even film artists, etc. Sports persons are professionals, umpires are professional, referee, coach, trainer, event managers, commentators, physiotherapists, anchors, sports columnists, commentators. Everybody is a professional. Royalty means consideration for transfer of rights. We will look at the table for exemption. Royalty is also falling under 194J. Fees for technical services 2%. Remember, this is 2%. Fees for professional services 10%. Fees for royalty in the nature of sale, distribution and exhibition of films 2%. Repeating, royalty in the nature of consideration for sale, distribution, exhibition of movies, Amazon Prime, Hotstar purchases the movie, acquires the right to over the movie 2%. Operating call centers 2%. Only 3 cases 2%. Fees for technical services, Royalty for cinematographic films, operating call percentage 2%. In all other cases, 10%, 30,000 threshold limit. As our friend was saying, for director, threshold limit is nil. Software, when it is not applicable, the software is acquired for subsequent transfer. It is goods. Tax has already been deducted either under 194J or non-resident provision on payment of previous transfers. The transferee gets a declaration from the transferor that the tax is suffered. Now, there is a person called a TPA, third party administrator for all insurance company. Claims insurance company is unable to verify. Mr. X has taken a medical insurance. Due to some disorder, he gets admitted into a hospital. He submits his medical insurance. The hospital contacts the insurance company. The insurance company says, send all the bills to the third party administrator, TPA, third party administrator. The TPA gets the invoice from the hospital for treatment, for consultation of doctor, for various equipment used, for gloves, for paracetamol. The TPA will not pay for that. General services, you collect it from the patient. This is medical insurance for other things, not for general things. So you collect. So TPA's work is, he audits the bill as to the claim, what are all acceptable, what are all not acceptable. He audits the bill. After that, he pays to the hospital. The question is TPA liable to deduct tax at source? The answer is yes. Hospital is providing a professional service. Through doctors, hospital is providing a professional service. So the third party administrator who is paying the hospital is liable to deduct under 194J. TPA who are making payment on behalf of an insurance company to a hospital for settlement of medical and insurance claim are liable to deduct tax under 194J because the services rendered by the hospital to the patients are professional in nature. Very popular question. Okay, very, very popular question. Okay, right. What is meant by professional services? ஒரு நிமிஷம் யோசிக்கலாம். Okay, this is very nice to understand also. What is meant by professional services? We are all giving professional services to our clients. அப்படியும் சொல்லலாம், we are all deemed to give professional services to our clients. All salaried employees, please come to our office between 10th and 15th. Just give your form 16 and go. இது professional service இல்ல. I am saying all salaried employee come and give on 15th, 10th and 15th. Every salaried employee will have his case different from another employee. Every person will have. So, I am coming to a concept called professional services. Means it cannot be customized or tailor-made. It cannot be customized or tailor-made. It has to be individualistic, depending upon the client requirement, depending upon the customer requirement, customer's nature. It needs to be, it cannot be tailor-made. If it is tailor-made, it is not known as professional services. If it is tailor-made, it is not known as professional services. For all clients, only one software. That software will tell what is the number of vouching you should carry on, what should be the idea. Personally, I don't think it's professional service. But generally, professional service means it cannot be tailor-made. It should be client-specific. You see it in many offices. You see it in news channels. You see it in various places where it is. Stock prices, scrolling. ICICI, Tata Steel, such and such company. It is a running, screen running, which is provided by Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange to all stockbrokers and whoever want it. You can get it. On payment of a fees, you will get it. You want to run it somewhere in your computer, you can get it. Every stockbroker, every person dealing in investments, everybody has paid for that services, and getting it is that amount paid coming under 194J. Supreme Court said no. The tailor-made liye. Is it that you are giving for Srivatsan comes and pays you some money? Sudha comes and pays you some money. Sriram comes and pays. For all of us, we are getting the same software. So the Supreme Court said, what is then is not professional. Professional services means it should be individualistic and customer based. Protect securities. Whether a transaction charges paid by the member of the stock exchange for availing automated online trading facility. Being a facility available to all members constitute technical fees to attract 194J. This is not a specialized service. It is not customer specific. It is for all members, so it will not attract 194J. Professional or technical services cannot be generalized. It should be common. Read through, please.
Sir, while going through this TPI, I had a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
The person who is making the payment is only liable to deduct TDS, right, sir? Even if it is in the nature of reimbursement. Suppose if we pay and get it reimbursed by the other person,
who is
whether
that
we
other
are
person?
Even if he is a business associate.
Raja, இப்போ Mr. X is the patient.
Yeah.
He pays to hospital. TDS வராது ஏன்னா அவன் business payment இல்ல, அது அவன் personal payment.
Okay.
Okay. He pays to hospital and the insurance company pays him back. Varadu. Ena he is not a professional. Insurance company directly paying or third party operator directly paying the hospital 194J. ரெண்டு பேருமே business associates.
Okay.
Sir, இப்போ doubt. TPA, the TPA pays first to the hospital. Again, TPA claims from the insurance company.
TPA ko insurance company ko 194C, sir.
Okay.
Or even you can call it as call center or processing the 194C. Not a professional work. That is mechanical work.
Okay, sir.
Professional mechanical vision. Section 194K. I told you dividend. We will again come back 1 minute. In 194I, I told you something. It is for threshold limit of 240 for all services put together. One good feature about 194J is it is per service. Okay. One good thing is here the term okay. Where a person renders multiple services, then threshold for each service and not on a cumulative basis. $192 லேந்து ஆரம்பம் சார் TDS provisions ஒரு personal experience. In all the sections over the past 20 years, threshold limit has changed except 194J. 192 basic exemption limit order the link. 194A 10,000 was the threshold limit. Interest. Now it is 40,000 or 50,000 for senior citizen. 194C 70,000 was the threshold limit. Now it is 1 lakh. Kammiya andalo threshold has changed. 194I rent 1,80,000 was the threshold limit. Now it is 2,40,000. In all the sections, threshold limit has changed, sir. Or sections like commission, the rate from 10% has been slashed to 5%. But in 194J alone, threshold is also less, rate is also high. Threshold is also less, 30,000. Today, nothing. And when they introduced, it was 30,000. 20 years, it is 30,000. When they introduced also 30,000, rate is 10%. Very unfair. Only reason which always is said is almost all the finance ministers, Mr. P. Chidambaram, Mr. Arun Jaitley, almost all the finance ministers or lawyers, almost all professional payments are made to chartered accountants. That's why the threshold limit is also less and the rate is also high. This is popularly said. Okay, but even without that comment also, I would say increase this threshold limit. இன்னைக்கு இது 3 lakhs இருந்தாலே இது வந்து small amount தான். 30,000 every services increases 30,000 and the rate is also 10%. Anyhow, income in respect of units. இதுதான் dividend sir. Dividend is from companies. This is from mutual funds. Same threshold limit of 5,000, same rate of 10%. Same threshold limit of 5,000, same rate of 10%. I should have written here. Okay. Transfer of immovable property other than agricultural land, otherwise done by compulsory acquisition. Okay. Here it is voluntary transfer because 194LA is talking about compulsory acquisition by the government. Again unfair. Threshold limit is small, 2,50,000. Rate is 10%. There 50 lakhs threshold limit, rate is 1%. Here threshold limit 2,50,000, rate is 10%. All other 194L, all other 194L are for non-residents. LB, LC, LD are all LBA are all for non-residents, my dear friends. We will see it in non-resident taxation. I have a special area where I relate it to your taxation and TDS and C. Okay. Majority of these things are infrastructure related. Okay. Majority of these things are infrastructure related. Whenever it is infrastructure related, I want more funds to come into India for development of our infrastructure. So tax will be less, okay, to attract foreign investment. So tax rate of taxation will just be 5.2%. Have we seen this? Yes, in business trust, REIT, real estate investment trust. Okay. Who is taxable? The ultimate unit holder is taxable. How the taxation system works? I get it from the SPV. It is not taxable in the hands of the business trust. So SPV need not deduct tax at source. When I distribute it back to my unit holder, tax, I need to deduct tax. The business trust need to be deducted tax. 10% in the case of residents and 5% in the case of non-residents. So infrastructure related, everything which is infrastructure related will be at a very concessional rate of 5%. Okay, you can see here, you will see a business trust also in one of the provisions. Okay, where the rate of taxation will just be 5%. All these things 194 will be basically for infrastructure industry. Interest paid by Indian company or business trust to a foreign company or a non-resident. Okay, everything will be 5%. Okay. Now coming to the next domestic section, though not domestic in technical way. 194M, payment for contract, commission and professional services. Okay, 194M, okay, payment for contract, okay, 194M. This is applicable for contract. Have we studied a contract section already?
94C.
Yeah.
194C.
So 194M says not covered under 194C. Contract, commission. We have already studied 194H. D வந்து insurance, G வந்து lottery. So we have already studied this in 194H. So not covered under 194H. Okay, professional, not covered under 194J, not covered under 194J. Contracts not covered under 194C, commission not covered under 194H, professionals not covered under 194J are coming under 194M. So who is coming under 194M? Individuals and HUF not having business. Individuals and HUF having business, but turnover or gross receipt not exceeding tax audit limit. I'm not stopping here. Individual and HUF subject to tax audit. Okay, individuals and HUF subject to tax audit making domestic payment. I am a professional subject to tax audit. I am making a business payment. 194C, 194H, 194J. For my residence, I am making a payment. Not covered under one. Expenses are claimed. I cannot claim it as an expenditure. Not covered under 194C, 194H or 194J. It is coming under 194M. So what is the coverage of 194M? Any contractual payment, any commission or any professional payment which is not covered under 194C, 194H, 194J respectively. How to interpret it? To whom it is applicable? Applicable for a non-business assessee, correct. Applicable for individuals and HUF whose gross turnover does not exceed 1 crore or gross receipts does not exceed 50 lakhs, correct, because those sections start with those words. Applicable for individuals and HUF whose business is tax audited but they are making some personal payment. In all these things it is applicable. What is the bottom line I have told you? Remember, make it simple, don't make it complicated. Because you are touching upon a domestic assessee. So the law says 50 lakhs as the threshold limit. Note that 50 lakhs is the threshold limit. And note 10, applicable for individuals and which you have not carrying on business or profession, gross turnover not exceeding. 3 types of payments are covered: works contract, commission, fees. Be deducted only at the time of payment. Don't tell them credit and all. Only at the time of payment. And not mandatory. Threshold 50 lakhs, 5%. In all these 3 cases which you have studied, domestic payment, TDS under 194IA. Sale of immovable property. 194IB, rent paid by a non-business assessee or individuals not exceeding. 194M, The tax shall be paid to the central government within 30 days from the end of the month in which deduction is made. In a provision, within 30 days from the end of the month in which deduction is made. On a registrar office, unless you pay the tax, they are not ready to register. You cannot go and argue. According to income tax, I have time. Hey, you register pannona tax challan kudundraanga registrar office. So looks seemingly the time limit is available, but practically the other two sections okay, but this section 194 IA, before registration they want the tax challan to be given. Okay, so 194 M. Now, apart from 194I, the four parts of 194I, what I have covered, 194J, payment to professionals, 194K, a smaller section, which is dividend from mutual funds, 194LA, compulsory acquisition. Other else we are not covering here, but we understand this is about infrastructure. Rate everywhere is 5%. Interest on borrowings, which is used for infrastructure. Then the bigger provision of 194M. Up to this, let us see it practically and come back. So, 194J, question number 22. XYZ Limited makes a payment of 28,000 to Mr. Ganesh towards fee for professional services, another 25,000 on the same date as fees for technical services. Is 194J attracted?
No, sir. For each
No,
of the
sir.
service, it's a
For each
threshold.
service, it is 30,000.
Very good, very good, very good. It is not like 194I. Here it is each service. Question number 23. East Bengal Club, a renowned football club, has engaged Raghu, a resident in India, as its coach at a remuneration of 6 lakhs per annum. The club wants to know from you whether it is liable to deduct tax at source from such remuneration. There is a difference between contract of service. The first one is employment, and the second one is engaging for professional competence. Okay, so contract of service, employment services, contract for service. Okay, you need not write it, just I am telling you. Okay, if you don't remember, not a problem. Where a coach is engaged, section 194K is applicable, as the term professional covers coach, trainers, etc. (194M). Bhimraj is an individual, makes the following payment to a resident consultant or to a resident contractor for works contract or to a resident by way of commission or brokerage. Amount of payment 27 lakhs, sorry for not changing the date, August 21, and 26 lakhs, November 21. Following situation. Case A. Bhimraj is a businessman. His books or account are audited every year under section 44 AB. Payment to consultant is for business purpose. B. Bhimraj is a businessman. His books are not audited in the immediate preceding previous year. Payment is for business purposes. C. Payment to consultant or contractor is for personal purposes and not a business payment. D. Bhimraj is a non-resident or foreign citizen. He does not have any income in India and payment for consultant is for personal purposes. Read through. Bhimraj is a businessman. His books of accounts are audited and the payment is for business purposes. The payment is for business purposes. Case A, the assessee is already covered under the provisions of 194C or 194H or 194J as the payment as the turnover has exceeded the threshold in the immediately preceding year. The payment is made for business purpose. Hence, 194M is not applicable. Only the respective sections and provisions of 194C, H or J is applicable. Case B. Bhimraj is a businessman. His books are not audited because his turnover has not exceeded the threshold, but the payment is now for business purpose. Assessee is not covered under 194C or H or J as the turnover of 2021 for you all, almost all of you are writing in May or November, has not exceeded rupees 1 crore. Section 194M will be applicable if those sections are not applicable. In the given case, the total amount paid is 27 lakhs plus 26 lakhs, 53 lakhs. It has exceeded the threshold under 194M. Hence, tax is liable to be deducted at the rate of, tax is liable to be deducted at the rate of 5% on 53 lakhs. This needs to be deducted at the time of payment and remitted within 30 days from the end of the month of deduction. This needs to be deducted at the time of payment and this needs to be remitted within 30 days from the end of the month of deduction and not mandatory.
Sir, in this case, there are two different dates, right?
second date only it exceeds 50 lakhs from the second date.
So on that date, we will deduct the entire 2
Yes,
lakhs.
yes, yes. Please write a theoretical answer. More to do with theory, less to do with solutions. Payment to a consultant is for personal purpose. Same answer, you can put a ditto. If those sections means 194 CH, okay. Bhimraj is a non-resident. Provisions of section 194M will be applicable to all assessees not covered under 194C H J. In other words, it is also applicable for non-resident payer. Even if he is an agriculturist, this is acceptable. This is applicable. Normally, agriculturists, their income is exempt, but they have to deduct tax under 194M. An agriculturist constructs a building for 75 lakhs. Their income is exempt, but they have to follow 194M and tax it. So, be it non-residents, be it agriculturists, be it fishermen, this provision is applicable. Question number 25. Mamekam Limited has made the following payment. Seek your advice on the tax to be deducted at source. Company has 3 shareholders. Rishikesh Limited, Hari, Mrs. Hari. The total dividend is 4 lakhs. 40% of the dividend will go to Rishikesh Limited. 194 is applicable because 40% means 1,60,000. For Mr. Hari also 194 is applicable. For Mrs. Hari, it will not be, it will be exempt because her dividend is less than 5,000.
5,000.
5,000 is the threshold limit. Write a quick answer, detailed answer. I will paste it later. For Rishikesh Limited, 194 applicable. Threshold limit nil anga. For Mr. Hari, individual, threshold limit 5,000. Since it has exceeded 194 applicable, 10%. For Mrs. Hari, dividend is just 4,000, not exceeded the threshold. Not exceeded the threshold. Second question to you, Venkatesh. Interest on debentures payable to a senior citizen, 14,000. Should tax be deducted at source?
Sir, interest from savings bank account is 50,000 limit. Debentures, I guess it is comes under interest in section 3.
அடி வாங்க போறீங்க. ஆன்சர் தெரியாதுன்னு கூட நீங்க கிட்ட சொல்லிருக்கலாம். நான் ஒரு ஆன்சர் சொல்றேன், அதுக்கு நீங்க கேள்வி கேளுங்கன்னு.
Sorry, sir.
Interest on debentures paid to a senior citizen, 14,000. The answer is yes, because only for bank interest, bank, post office, cooperative bank, 40,000 or 50,000. Otherwise, limit is 5,000. Otherwise, limit is 5,000. For interest on debentures, limit is 5,000. Adu senior citizen andalum yara andalum. So it has exceeded the limit 10% TDS. 10% TDS. For banking only 40 or 50,000. Banks, post office, including cooperative banks, 40 or 50. For all other things, threshold is 5,000. Exceeded the threshold, so tax has to be deducted at source. Savings bank interest எவ்வளவா இருந்தாலும் no TDS. Okay, that answer is for Venkatesh. அவனா ஒரு சொல்யூஷன் சொன்னா ஒத்துக்க மாட்டேன் வெங்கடேஷ். பக்கத்துல தெரிஞ்சு இருந்தா குளிச்சிடு. Okay, so savings bank interest alone not at all taxable. Interest on capital not taxable, but otherwise in this case for the question asked, yes, TDS. Payment of job worker for purchase of goods 875. The job worker is supplied goods by Rishikesh Limited and the finished product is supplied by the job worker to Mamekam Limited. Remember, Rishikesh Limited holds 40% of the shares in Mamekam Limited. Now tell me.
Related party, sir.
Related party. So 194C says, if raw material is supplied by the customer, Mamekam Limited, or its related party, Rishikesh Limited is a related party because they hold 20% or more of the share capital. And so what the job worker does is just job work, exceeds the threshold of 1 lakh. So tax needs to be deducted at 2% or 1% as the case may be. Next. Payment of 75,000 to Kalahasti Limited, a company which operates call center for Mamekam Limited.
2% TDS.
2%. 194J, 2%. Payment of 1,20,000 to an electrician who purely renders technical services.
10,000. 194J.
The 10,000 என்னது?
10,000. 10% sir. Sorry, அவசரப்பட்டேன்.
அதுக்கு ஒரு சாரி சொல்லிடு.
technical
technical services 2%. Sorry.
2% technical services. Payment to auditors 3 lakhs.
Sir, professional services 10%, sir.
10%. Sitting fees to a director 25,000.
10%, sir.
10%
threshold 0.
No threshold.
Sitting fees to director வந்து இது exempt தானே?
Raja?
Sitting fees to director TDS வந்து exempt தானே? I mean.
Yeah.
ஏதோ நீங்க சொன்னீங்க ஏதோ ஒரு provision related to this.
Sir, okay. Next time when you ask me, Antonio, you should ask me, sir, what did you tell? ஏதோ சொன்னீங்களே அப்படின்லாம் சொல்லாத ஆண்டனி, வலிக்கும். Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Whatever is not covered under 192 comes under 194J. Sitting fees is not covered under 192 because it is not in the nature of remuneration or salary. So it falls under 194J, threshold limit nil. The entire amount is liable for 10% tax deduction.
Okay.
Okay. So what have we studied? We have studied 1 up to 194M. A quick look through. 192 salaries, 192A EPF, premature withdrawal of EPF, 193 securities, interest on securities, 194 dividend, 194A interest other than interest on securities, 194B and BB winnings, 194C contractual payments, 194D insurance commission, 194DA maturity proceeds of insurance, 194E non-resident sports person, 194G commission and brokerage, lottery ticket, commission on lottery tickets, 194H commission and brokerage, which is of business nature, which has lot of special points, 194I rent, 194IA sale of immovable property, 194IB rent paid by persons not covered under 194I, 194IC specified agreement, 194J professionals technical service royalty directors payment other than remuneration, 194K mutual fund dividend, 194LA compulsory acquisition, 194LB to LD to do with non-resident infrastructure 5%, 194M domestic payments or non-business payments, though it is said so, some business payments might also get covered, which are not covered under 194C, 194J and 194H. I'm moving on to a section which is not a income, which is more to do with our Prime Minister's dream of cashless economy.
One doubt, sir, in that.
Yeah, solunga Raja.
The interest on debentures payable to senior citizens, sir, அது வந்து 194(3) ல வருமா?
194A.
Okay.
193 வந்து securities, government securities மாத்திரம் தான் ராஜா வரும்.
Okay, got it, sir, got it.
Coming back. ஆனா 193 லயும் 194A லயும் அதே ரேட் தான் 10%. அதே threshold limit தான் 5000.
அதனால தான் சார் போட்டு.
worry பண்ண வேண்டாம், கவலைப்படாத. Okay, coming back. So this is our Prime Minister's dream of cashless economy. They are saying now, if you withdraw cash, once more, if you withdraw cash beyond a particular limit, I am going to deduct tax on your withdrawal. Normally it is on the income. Here the withdrawal is not income. Your money you are withdrawing. Okay, taking money from this pocket to this pocket is not an income. But still, they are now reducing. In a year, they are saying up to 1 crore you withdraw. No problem. Beyond 1 crore, if you withdraw, I am going to tax you at 2%. Up to 1 crore withdrawal is allowed. Beyond 1 crore, on that excess alone, tax is liable to be deducted at 2%. Any provisions which are introduced from financial year 2021 is having one extra point. Any provisions which are getting introduced from financial year 2021, where you have not filed your returns, where you have not provided PAN, that's different. You have provided PAN, but you have not filed your return for 3 consecutive assessment years. Then this 1 crore becomes 20 lakhs. Okay? Where assessee has not furnished his return of income for all the 3 years. But for all 3 years, for which the time limit under 139(1) has expired, the threshold limit boils down to 20 lakhs instead of 1 crore, and the rate becomes 2% from 20 lakhs to 1 crore and 5% on more than 1 crore. However, the ATM operator, money changers, authorize the dealer, white label ATM operator, their business itself is to deal with cash. For them, this provision is not applicable. Read through.
Sir, form 26A la வந்து like 194 NF ன்னு வருது. Does it have any significance or it is the same thing? NF.
NF இதுவா நீங்க நான் பிசினஸ் அசஸியா?
ஆமா சார். யா.
அதான் NF அந்த கோட் அது.
ஓகே.
On cash withdrawal. This is not income. This is on cash withdrawal. It's your own money withdrawing, but when we are going for a cashless economy, they are taxing it. Bank of Madurai approached you to seek opinion on the tax to be deducted at source in the following circumstances. Mr. Narahari, a businessman, withdraws 2 lakhs per month. He has not furnished his return for 1819, 1920. He has furnished for 2021. That is enough.
Not liable to deduct TDS.
2 lakh into 12, 24 lakhs. So the threshold limit will become 1 crore and not 20 lakhs. Okay, let's go and answer it. Avinash, a businessman who has commenced the business in 1819, withdraws 2,50,000 per month. He has not furnished any returns so far. 1819, first financial year, 1920, second financial year, 2021, third financial year. For 2021, though even if you take December 21 as the due date, by the time you write your examination, it will be May 22. So 139, one would have got over. So all the 3 years he has not furnished his return of income. Annapurni, a fashion designer, has withdrawn 15 lakhs till 30th June and withdraws 7 lakhs between July and March. Okay. Coffee Breweries Association has not filed return from their inception as they have their entire income exempt. They make cash withdrawal of 10,000 per month, okay, to pay various expenditure. So, what is the provision if return need not be filed by the assessee? The law is silent. Unfortunately, the law is silent. Okay, so we go by the general provision of 20 lakhs being the threshold limit. The law is silent.
Sir, don't they need to file nil return?
Yeah, they need to file actually. Yes, we will see in
Yeah,
return of income
it's
chapter.
more like they have not filed, right?
Yeah.
One second.
Sorry. The bank is of the opinion that the section 194 when is only for business assessee. Abdiya.
No, sir.
So 194 yen is for the cash withdrawal. 194 O is for e-commerce operator or participants. Amazon. You sell books. You sell various products. You see various people now. Online market. Sarees, bags, accessories. Using some platform, they are selling. So, the person who is providing that platform collects money, remits it to that person. That is coming under the scanner of TDS now. 194O. Okay, right? It is web sales, okay, or sales through the platforms. Provisions applicable for an e-commerce operator facilitating digital or electronic facility or just the platform for both goods and services. Threshold limit only for individuals and HUF 5 lakhs provided they furnish PAN or Aadhaar. If not, threshold is nil. Rate of deduction 1%. However, if PAN is not provided, 5%. Deduction shall be made either at the time of credit or payment. Okay. Now, please understand. Our friend Dinesh Jain, his books are available in the online platform as well as anybody who wants to directly place an order with him, they can place it. They can buy the book through an online platform, Sitaraman and Co, Amazon, Flipkart, or they can directly buy by paying him through this platform. Are both the payments covered for the threshold of 5 lakhs or for TDS? Yes. The term gross amount, because 1% of gross amount. Gross amount will also include all payments made by the e-commerce operator. Even direct sales, facilitated by the operator will be covered. Even though money is directly going to him, but it has to touch that platform and go. That payment gateway belongs to the platform, so they can monitor. Suppose the payment gateway is Razorpay. The online platform provider Flipkart. Payment gateway Razorpay. Rendu perum tax deduct pannama? No. Flipkart will give a declaration to Razorpay. Don't worry, I am deducting tax. You need not deduct tax. On the question whether the payment gateway operator has to deduct tax in case of transaction through digital platform, it has been clarified where the payment gateway provider gets an undertaking from the operator that tax has been deducted at source, they are not liable to deduct it again. Provision introduced last year. Possibility of questions are high. Policybazaar.com. Insurance aggregator nu per avungalukku, insurance agent or aggregator. So Vatsan, Sriram, Sudha, Ananya, Ranganayaki, Venkatesh, all of us take the policy through policybazaar.com. Policybazaar.com collects it and pays to life insurance, general insurance, Kotak insurance, Sundaram insurance. They are liable to deduct tax at source. No doubt. Next year, Vatsan directly pays, Venkatesh directly pays, Sudha directly pays. They are not using Policybazaar platform. First year, the policy edukumbo they will use. Next year onwards, they directly pay the insurance company. Should this be added to the threshold? No. Provision specifics to insurance agent or aggregator. Suppose a portal acts as an insurance agent, collects premium from various persons and remit to an insurance company, then it will fall under the services and the insurance company becomes a participant. If in the subsequent year the policyholder directly pays to the premium to the insurance company, the question is whether it will still be regarded as services provided by the operator. It has been clarified where the insurance agent or aggregator has no involvement in the transaction. He would not be liable to tax under 194O. However, for the insurance commission they are paying, 194D will be applicable. Read through. I'll come to this point a little later. So insurance agent, insurance aggregator are not covered. 194O, to be clear, going by our own style, to whom applicable? E-commerce participant, e-commerce operator. What is the threshold? The threshold is only for individuals and HUF who has provided PAN or Aadhaar to the extent of 5 lakhs. What is the rate? 5%. What are all the special points to remember? Remember, it is on the gross amount. Even direct sales will be taken as gross amount. Both the payment gateway operator and the platform provider, both are providing e-commerce service. Payment gateway operator need not deduct if they collect a declaration from the platform provider that they will deduct the tax. For insurance, yes, 194O is applicable. But if the policy is subsequently paid by the policyholder directly to the insurance company, then the platform provider has not done any duty. Only in the first year he has done the duty. In the subsequent years, 194O is not applicable. However, 194HD will become applicable. I will talk about transaction through exchanges in some other place. Dummies Prime is an e-commerce operator as well as OTT platform provider. Following payments are made. Seek your opinion on the tax to be deducted. Purchase of the film Endiran for exhibition in the OTT platform. சொல்ல மாட்டீங்களா? 194J, 194J, where they have said any sale of exhibition of film, exhibition also, not only sale, exhibition of films.
Cinematographic.
Huh?
Cinematographic films.
Cinematographic films, 2%. This will fall under 194J. 1 minute, I'll read through and come back. Payment to Messrs. Style Limited for sale of their product, 194O. Payment to Saravana and Co, a firm for selling their product, rupees 3 lakhs, 194O. The limit is only for individuals and HUF. 194O. Payment to Miss Ranjini for selling makeup equipment, 4,80,000. Tax need not be deducted at source, provided Ranjini provides PAN or Aadhaar. Payment to Mr. Srihari for sale of accessories, 4,10,000. Srihari fails to provide PAN, 5%. Payment to Mr. Dinesh Jain for sale of his classes, 7,50,000 direct sale using the platform and money is received by him, and 8 lakhs through taxes deductible for the entire 15,50,000. You have used the platform, only direct sale through platform, both gross amount. Sale of software, that is also covered. It is not only goods but also software. 5.5 lakhs into 5%. First one is 194J, all others 194O. If it is PAN is provided 1%, otherwise 5%. Sale of Ranjini alone, you will have a small thing. If Aadhaar or PAN is provided, no tax because it has not exceeded threshold limit.
So the last one is sale of software.
Sale of software through the platform, 194O. Services also are covered. Again, I will put a detailed answer in our Excel. I will do the detailed answers. Questionable area. These are the most relevant questionable areas which will be in our present practice. I'll stop here and go to 194P Q in the next tomorrow's class, because now comes the amendment. What is up is amendment, which I will take it fresh tomorrow morning. And students, tomorrow morning I'm coming to the institute. I'm there in the institute to take physical classes, and I'm trying to go up to 11 o'clock tomorrow. Please frame your office in such a manner that you attend from 11:30. I'm trying to take up to 11 o'clock tomorrow. I'm coming to the institute. We will complete till advanced tax everything tomorrow, so that I will give you the plan of action for the rest of the classes also tomorrow morning. All the best, friends.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.